Hey guys, welcome back. So we do have Cyclo back in the game now, something that a lot of us have been looking forward to. He's a very fun bot with a very smooth play style. You saw I did that gameplay against the Brawler Shark on that very annoying armor lane in the new mission, as well as that Motormaster fight, because Cyclo is the perfect counter for a bot like Motormaster. So I just want to go over his kit, offer some tips about his playstyle. And so I took Cyclo to rank 4 right away, and I did awaken him. He's not at high sig yet, but I will invest more in him over time. His sig is actually really good because it triggers very frequently. You can get plenty of use out of it. So it increases the dark burn damage inflicted by that dark field of his. This is a good thing because he gets the dark field over and over again, and so you can get plenty of use out of this sig. At low sig, it's not a lot of extra damage, but at high sig, it is. It goes up to 120% more damage at sig 100. And so his sig basically allows for free passive damage that you can land over and over again. So if you are going to use Cyclo a lot, I would recommend that you invest into his sig at least somewhat in order to make the most of it. And so Cyclo's kit is all about his dark energy, his dark field, and his discipline, all of which become stronger with rank. And so, with dark energy, right? He gets that every time he gains a bar of power, which also gives him a really nice attack boost for 6 seconds. The dark field, of course, is something that pulses. That's what kind of pushes the opponent back, which can be helpful, and it inflicts that dark burn, which, as I said, will become stronger with his sig. But the dark field also allows him to nullify buffs, and he can nullify all kinds of buffs, melee buffs, armor buffs, crit rate buffs, whatever. Cyclo is really good when it comes to nullification, and that does come in handy. But that brings us, of course, to the most unique part of his kit, the fact that he is a very hard, unstoppable counter. And this is pretty awesome, right? So if the opponent dashes at him when they're unstoppable, he nullifies it and inflicts stun. So this is what makes him such a great bot to use against Motormaster, but there are plenty of other options, right? So Sunny is a big one. We did not have Sunny for very long in the old game, but now he's everywhere, right? He's very annoying to fight against, and he goes unstoppable a lot. So Cyclo will do very well against Sunny, against Tantrum, against Ironhide, any bots that go unstoppable. By the way, Exofilter and Rage is a great one. Any unstoppable bots or mods are going to make Cyclo just an absolute beast because he just makes things so much easier when you're going up against unstoppable bots. Now, the opponent does have to be dashing at you when they're unstoppable in order to inflict that stun. So that means that this does take a little bit of getting used to in terms of your movements with Cyclo, in terms of your positioning when the opponent has unstoppable, because you need to create the space for them to dash at you. And so that can take a little bit of getting used to, but once you do, it's not only a lot of fun, it makes those fights significantly easier and just less troubling to deal with. Okay, so Discipline is also a very useful ability of his because it gives him both defensive and offensive buffs. So when he is struck by 5 melee attacks, like a full combo, he gains physical resistance, which gives him some tankiness. And then on the offensive side, when he lands 6 ranged attacks, he gets a ranged damage and speed bonus, and when he lands 10 melee attacks, he gets a melee bonus. So you are rewarded for landing those hits against the opponent. When it comes to his specials, they're all interesting and have their uses. So his special 1 is armor piercing. Okay, so Cyclo does not have armor break, but he does have armor bypass. That special 1 will pierce the armor, ignore the armor of the opponent every time. So if you're using Cyclo against a really tanky bot, a bot with lots of armor, or an armor mod like that Brawler Shark fight that I did, you want to use that special 1 most of the time because you'll be able to land that big damage and get through their armor. His special 2 is an excellent special, does very big damage, and the last hit is unblockable. And then the Special 3 is not the biggest damage dealer, although it's solid. However, it's one of my personal favorites because the animation is just so cool. It's very well done. But also, he does gain Dark Energy and the Dark Field pulses for 10 seconds afterwards, which can actually be very helpful in certain kinds of fights. So all of his specials have their usefulness. So in terms of his synergies, I want to focus primarily on Hand of Chaos. If you're not familiar with it, it's one of the best synergies in the game with Galva. It increases all Decepticon special damage and crit damage by 15%, which is great. And it applies to all Decepticons on your team. So you have to be using both Cyclo and Galva, but as long as you are, any other Decepticons you have on your team will benefit. This is also one that you can kind of cheese a little bit once we get the lower tier Cyclonuses, because if you use, a 3-star and a 4-star and a 5-star Cyclonus, the damage on this goes way up. Okay, so obviously that's not the kind of thing that you're going to do very often, but it is a fun thing to do when you can. And so regardless, though, Hand of Chaos is an amazing synergy, very worthwhile. And Cyclo has, a lot of these base armor and attack synergies with a handful of other bots as well. And so Cyclo is a bit of a specialty bot. He has a few of these unique abilities. He's a great unstoppable counter, right? He's got the Dark Field. He has Discipline. A lot of people, obviously, almost everyone is going to be using, OGP or OGM. But if you're looking for another tactician to invest in, I wholeheartedly recommend Cyclo because you will be able to get a lot of use out of him given the nature of his kit. And like I said, he's just very fun to play and he has a really smooth, nice play style. So I hope this has been helpful, guys, and we'll be in touch again next time. Take care.